Electric car sales just hit a record high in China, the world's biggest car market by a mile. In China, they sell twice as many cars as they do in the United States every year. Nearly 60% of all cars sold in China in September were electrified, either plug-in hybrids or fully electric, with most of them being fully electric. That means that those sales in China this year have increased by nearly 30%. And that is pushing global electric car sales towards a record year of around 30% increase in EV sales versus last year. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. And if we're focusing on emissions worldwide, people often do, automotive industry emissions are far worse than emissions elsewhere. For example, emissions from airplanes. Emissions from airplanes, I mean, they're not good, but you don't have to personally breathe those in. Yeah. They don't cause you cancer. So that's why emissions from cars are so important. And that's why I think the world needs to electrify as fast as we possibly can. People who don't support this 100%, I don't understand why. Because these same people are breathing in the fumes from cars. And surely they know by now that these fumes cause cancer. So seeing this is the reason I do these videos. Often I get pushback. I got an email today saying, I'm going to be sued because I'm promoting Chinese cars. And so apparently I'm going to be sued by different organizations because I could be liable for different things. This is the kind of scare tactics I get to try and stop me from actually talking about them, talking about EV sales globally, which obviously if China represents 40% of the world's car sales, then what China does matters enormously. So looking at the best-selling vehicles this year, let's have a look at the best-selling car brands in China this year when it comes to EV sales. And we can see legacy automakers, how well are they doing? Not very well, really not well. I mean, terribly badly, because China's passenger new energy vehicle wholesale sales, right? September, let's look at September. BYD, first place, 393,000. That includes their exports. Geely, 165,000. Chang'an, 97,000. SAIC, General Motors, Wuling, that's a tri-venture. General Motors owns 33% of that tri-venture. 91,000. Tesla China, 91,000. Chery, 85,000. Leap Motor, 67,000. Most of those were EVs from Leap Motor. Great Wall Motors, 46,000. Dongfeng, 43,000. Xiaomi, 42,000. Xpeng, nearly 42,000. Series, 41,000. SAIC, 35,000. NIO, 35,000. Li Auto, 34,000. GAC Aeon, 29,000. Now, guys, legacy automakers dominated the Chinese car market only a few years ago. I mean, completely dominated it. We haven't seen a legacy automaker yet in this entire list. And we're down into small numbers now. FAW Hongqi, 17,000. FAW Bestune, 16,000. ArcFox, 16,000. IM Motors, 11,000. SAIC General Motors. Here we go. This is really the first legacy automaker here that owns any real percentage of their car company. 50-50 joint venture between SAIC and General Motors. 10,000. 10,000. Out of this enormous tally, we're talking 10,000 out of 1.5 million. And that's the top. Toyota, Toyota GAC, their joint venture with GAC, 9,000. Dongfeng Nissan, 8,000. So in Volkswagen, 4,783. As you can see, the future of the automotive industry in China has nothing to do with legacy automakers. They will eventually disappear, like Mitsubishi has, like Jeep has, like various brands have left China because they weren't selling enough cars. But these companies have massive factories all around China. Those factories will just shut. Many of them already have. They're being underutilized, and therefore these legacy automakers are having to write down billions of dollars in losses. But as you can see, the Chinese brands, which are making, to be honest, better cars at better prices, whether you like those brands or not, doesn't really change facts, does it? and therefore they are having enormous success. Speaking of success, 59% of all vehicles sold in China in September were electrified, as I said earlier, 59%, and that is a new record. By 2030, that won't be 59%, that will be 100%. It's inevitable. Now, one thing that just happened today, the Chinese government said there is no more new energy vehicle subsidies for plug-in hybrids or EREVs unless they have a minimum of 100 kilometers of EV range. What this means is that EVs exported from China, plug-in hybrids or EREVs, will have a minimum of 100 kilometers of range. And that change will be pretty much within the next couple of months. So I personally would caution you to not buy a plug-in hybrid or an EREV that has, or EREVs don't have less than 100 kilometers, but don't buy a plug-in hybrid with less than 100 kilometers of range, because that will be the new standard. So if you're going to buy a plug-in hybrid, it's got 50 kilometers of EV only range, you're going to get sort of left behind. So anyway, that's one big change worth looking at. And this will mean probably not really going to be that value. The cost to manufacture a plug-in hybrid with 100 kilometers of range or more, it's not cheaper than manufacturing an EV. That's why, in many cases, the fully electric version of a car is cheaper than the plug-in hybrid version. That will only actually cover all the market soon. Within a few years' time, many of these EVs in China will have sodium-ion batteries, which will be significantly cheaper than lithium iron phosphate batteries today. They're better batteries than lithium iron phosphate, at least the specs we have from CATL on the new sodium-ion batteries, and they can last 5 times longer. So yeah, that's what the market's going to be dominated by: affordable EVs, not by plug-in hybrids or internal combustion. In terms of actual sales figures, 1.31 million new energy vehicles, meaning plug-in hybrids, EREVs, and EVs, were sold in September. Of those, about 67% were fully electric. 67%, so 1 in 3, meaning probably approximately about 850,000 of those vehicles would have been fully electric. So 850,000 EVs sold in a single month in China. I say by the end of this year, EV sales in China will have hit 60%, possibly even higher than that. And we're going to be seeing about 1 million EVs sold per month over the next few months in China alone. Yeah, that'll mean probably for this year in total, there'll be more than 20 million electric cars sold worldwide. That would be approximately 25% of the entire car market on the planet. So if your friends still don't believe that EVs are the future, a lot of them still think they're a fad. I've heard a lot of this stuff from a lot of people online. They're just a fad, they'll disappear. Well, yeah. It's going to be a hard reality shock for a lot of people, isn't it, over the next few years when internal combustion cars disappear. Thanks for watching. The Sydney EV International Motor Show. If you want to get a 50% discount on your tickets, all you got to do, click the link in the description and use the promotion code that's in the description. Just copy and paste that. Now, I should mention there's only 200 tickets available per day. So if you go to use the promo code and you can't get a ticket, wait till the next day. Don't wait until the day before the show to get your tickets, because otherwise you'll probably miss out on getting the 50% discount.